Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. How is everyone doing today? So I got a little bit different video today. I'm going to do a little segment called Out at the Movies, and I'm going to go and finally go see the Batman. I was going to go see it last week, but then I called my dad, Bam, who's right there, and he was still in Florida at the time, and I said, hey, do you want to see this? And he said, yeah, I'll see it. So decided to wait, so we are finally getting out today to go see it. I'm very excited. People have been talking about it a little bit at work. I've been trying to avoid as many spoilers as possible, and I'm very excited about it. So yeah, we're gonna go out. Sorry, it's a little shaky there. Dad's car's a little shaky, but we're gonna head out and go check it out. And I was all set to go. I had my Batman shirt on and everything, and decided not to go that route. So I switched over to the Jaws shirt. And yeah, so we're gonna head out and go see the Batman, and I'm gonna do a review for it afterwards. All right, see you guys later. Okay, so we just got out of that movie. That was an experience, I'll tell you that. What'd you think?
I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Definitely one of the best Batman movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, oh, go ahead.
No, I had to say, it's just really a great movie. It really kept you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, it's dark. I'm gonna wait till I get back to the house. I'm gonna process my thoughts a little bit more, but I'm gonna go greater into detail on what I really liked and didn't like, which as far as didn't like, there wasn't much. But yeah, and that's coming from my dad. I didn't think my dad was going to like it. I thought he was going to find it a little too dark. But
no, it was great.
Very, very detective-like. Like I said, I'm going to go into great detail. But I'm glad he liked it. Okay, let's just get a rating from you real quick. Out of 5 stars, how many stars would you give it?
I think I'd be a good 4.5.
Good 4.5? That's a solid number. Okay, so I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna process this, and I'm gonna talk a little more in depth about it from what I thought. But I just want to get his point of view, and I'm glad you liked it. Actually, I didn't think you were going to, but yeah, it's an experience. It's something else. We'll go into greater detail. But cool. So thank you. Just wanted to get your opinion. So. All right, guys, I'll see you in a minute. All right, guys. Well, it's actually the next day, so I've had a little bit of time to kind of think about the movie a little bit and kind of go over a little bit what I'm going to discuss. I'm not going to go too deep into it. I don't really want to try. I really want to try to not give like any spoilers away. I just kind of want to tell you a little bit about what I thought about it. I'm not going to talk very long, just a little bit, because honestly, I think the best way to go into this movie is going in as blind as possible. And that's what I did. I knew very little about it. I think I saw the one first teaser trailer, and that was about it. So I went in pretty blind, and that could be part of the reason why I enjoyed it so much, because I didn't really know what to expect. But basically, I'm just going to go over it a little bit. The first thing that you should realize, though, if you so choose to watch a review before going to see the movie, is you're going to get a far different Batman than you're used to. This movie is far darker, far grittier. It's a different portrayal of Bruce Wayne. It's a little creepy at times. There's really no comic relief. There's really nothing that really kind of breaks the tension of the movie. I mean, this movie is pretty serious and pretty suspenseful and very tense. Pretty much the entire movie. You don't get really any laughs at all. The atmosphere in the movie is really, really well done. What I would compare it to is, it reminded me a lot of if you were to take Blade Runner and Seven. Blade Runner and Seven, put them together. That's kind of as far as atmosphere goes, that was the kind of feel that I got. A little more Seven. As far as the way that the movie unfolds, because this isn't so much a superhero movie. It is, but it's more of a thriller detective story. There's elements of film noir in it too. So you're definitely, it's got the Riddler in it, so you got a lot of riddles throughout the entire thing, and it's very much like a detective story. You're getting a Batman detective in this. You still get the fights, you still see him kick some ass, and those scenes are great. But yeah, it is far more of a thriller detective type story more so than anything else. But at the same time, it's more of like a detective type thriller story. But honestly, it felt more like a comic book movie than a lot of the other Batmans. And I think that has a lot to do with the way that they were placing the camera. The fact that I think all except for like 2 scenes, it was raining in every scene except for like 2 scenes in the entire movie. And just the way that they placed the camera, it looks like you're taking a scene from a comic book right off the page and bring it into the live action. It's just, they did a very good job of going in between, of making it feel like a detective story, but still very much making it feel like it was out of a comic book, if that makes any sense. It was very weird and very strange the way that they did it. But in my opinion, I found it to be extremely effective. Another thing that that really resonated with me in this movie was the soundtrack. I found the soundtrack to be very dark, creepy, even unsettling at times. The Nirvana Something in the Way works perfect in there. And there's another song in there. It's a classic piece, and I can't remember the name of it. I'll put it down below in text here because I can't remember the name of it. But they use that song in there throughout the entire movie. And I find that to be very just creepy and very effective, and it works super well. The soundtrack was fantastic. There's a couple times where they have this really high pitched, just almost very unsettling kind of just high pitched note that's going in the background amongst all this other music. It just, whoever did that soundtrack did a fantastic job. It made it very, very, it's not even creepy all the time, but very creepy, I guess it would be a good word for it. It just fit. Everything just fit as far as the music went. It was fantastic. I was a huge fan of the soundtrack with the cinematography, the fantastic cinematography, blended all that together. It just worked really, really well. We'll go over just real quickly some of the actors. So Robert Pattinson, I think that's his name. Robert Pattinson as Batman. He was good, but it was a different take. Normally you'd see like a Bruce Wayne type character being very charismatic, just can handle really any situation. This was more of a almost little bit at times insecure, dark, mad, sad, gloomy, doomy, very emo, gothic type of Dark Knight. It's quite different. But from what I've heard is that I believe that this movie takes place fairly early in the days of Batman. And there's few things in there that they kind of bring in that kind of hint that maybe it's early on in the film. So I don't know if he's going to plan on, if he develops different personality later on, because I'm sure there'll be more movies. But yeah, this one was far different, very dark. He barely goes above a whisper, talks pretty soft the entire time. You don't really ever see him get that mad. It's definitely just a different take. It's good. I found it fitting for this movie, but just be aware you're not going to get a typical Bruce Wayne that you're used to. Colin Farrell as the Penguin was unrecognizable and fantastic. I thought he was one of the high points of this film. I loved him. I thought every time he was on screen, I thought he stole the show. He was fantastic. Paul Dano? Paul Dano? I'll put it down below if I'm wrong. I think that was his name. As the Riddler, was good. I mean, he wasn't like super, super fantastic, but I mean, he was still good. But there's a scene later on in the film between him and Batman where he really shined as the Riddler, and I found him to be very creepy and very effective and just a downright excellent performance. The woman who played the Catwoman, I forget her name too. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not very prepared. She was fantastic. She did a great job. And then the guy who played Alfred, he's not in it too much. They could have done, they could have done a little more with Alfred, but he was just fine. Who else am I forgetting? Then you got John Turturro as the mob boss, Falcone. I forget what his first name is, but as Falcone. They definitely could have done more with him. John Turturro is an excellent talent, and they definitely could have done more with him. They didn't really do a whole lot with him. It is what it is. He was good for what it was. Then the guy that plays James Gordon, he was fine, but he was another one too that really he was in there, but he really didn't do anything that I thought was all that great. He was just there and he did a fine job. But yeah, I'd say out of all the people, probably Colin Farrell as the Penguin was definitely the standout performance. He was great, and he was unrecognizable. Like, if I didn't know that it was Colin Farrell going in, I never would have guessed. I mean, he really did a pretty exceptional job. Now, I do have a couple complaints about the movie. Nothing too major. Nothing that really ruins the movie. But like you've probably heard, the running time is 3 hours. The movie is extremely long. There are definitely some scenes I think that probably could have been cut. They could have easily moved this movie down to about 2.5 hours probably, and it would have been just fine. For me personally, I started to feel the length of it getting towards the end. It drags a little bit. It has some pacing issues from time to time. Like I said, it was nothing that really ruined the movie. It didn't take me out of the movie. It was just a few things that I noticed. There are a couple different things, where the movie tries to be a detective movie, tries to be a thriller, tries to be a comic book movie, tries to be a drama. It does have a lot of different things that it's trying to do, and they kind of conflict with each other just slightly, but not anything, like I said, that's going to ruin the movie. But those are really my only major parts, that I had issues with. Otherwise, I thought it pretty much succeeded across the board, at least for my personal opinion. I thought the cinematography was fantastic, soundtrack was great, the acting was good, just the overall atmosphere. It's a very moody film. Overall atmosphere of the film was great. I mean, I was really into that. I loved that it rained throughout the entire movie. It was just really, really cool. They had some new gadgets in here, too, that I actually thought that was kind of cool, that I don't remember seeing in other Batmans, that I thought was kind of cool that they were bringing those to light. And they might have been other Batmans, and I might have just missed them, but there's a couple things that they used that I thought were really cool. And one of the coolest scenes, too, is the first time he revs up the Batmobile, and was fantastic. And then it turns into one of the coolest action car chase scenes I've seen in a long time. That was definitely another high point for the film. Was the first time that Batmobile revs up, and then he gets into a chase scene with the Penguin, and it was just badass. It was done so well, very cool. But yeah, other than that, like I said, just those few little problems here and there didn't take me out of the film. Very different film. Just be aware of that going in, that you're not going to get your typical one. Very dark, very gloomy, a little bit creepy at times. But overall, I thought it was completely badass. I was a huge fan. I would love to actually go see it one more time in the theater, just to get that full theater experience one more time. So, I mean, in my opinion, I can't recommend it enough. Just beware. You're going to get a different kind of Batman, but it is so cool. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 5, I can't quite give it a 5 because I did have a couple issues. I'd probably give it a solid, I want to say 4, but you know what? I'm even going to go a 4.5. I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It really resonated with me. I really enjoyed it. I really got into it. And there was a part there too where I had to use the restroom. But that was another part too. It's like it was right in the middle of the movie, and there was a part where I had to go use the restroom. There really was not a good time to stop because there's a whole section kind of in the middle where it's like one solid scene after another. And it's just like, I finally had to just pick a time when it just seemed like it was a lower point. But that's another thing too, is that a lot of the scenes are very, very good and you don't want to miss much. And on top of that, there's a lot of riddles. So you also don't want to do that. So I recommend using the restroom before you go into this movie because it is 3 hours and you really don't want to miss much. But yeah, do yourself a favor. See it on IMAX. Definitely try to see it in the theater at least, even if it's not IMAX. And I think if you're a Batman fan, you'll probably enjoy it. If you're a film noir and kind of like just even like a thriller detective type fan, you're going to enjoy it. I think it brings kind of a lot of different stuff in that I think a lot of different people are going to enjoy. It was very, very good and I highly recommend it. So do yourself a favor, go out and see it in the theater because I think you're going to have a good time. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's my, in a nutshell, without giving too much away, review of The Batman. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Lets me know you guys like what I'm doing. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.